Hello guys, sorry for my crappy mic, but yeah. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to climb Mount Everest on Roblox by Roblox and Adventures. So first things first, there's a snowstorm, of course there is. You're going to want to go in here. First you're going to want to turn your flow off. The first thing you do when you get in the game is turn your flow off. You're going to want to go into here and grab you're going to want to grab the oxygen tank and make sure your flow is off because you do not need the oxygen right now. And then if you want, you can grab the backpack and the climbing uniform and stuff. You can also grab the helmet. The helmet can make it easier to see, just like that. You notice I'm using the night vision goggles just to make it easier to see. But you can notice that there's a ton of stuff over here. And then you can see that there's like stuff that says like VE, which is Void Expeditions, Swift Expeditions, the Alpine Ascents. You just need to join the groups to get into here. You don't necessarily need to worry about any of these at all. But if you do want to join, you can join them. You'll see that when you spawn in, if you haven't bought any game passes, you have a radio that you can use to use the radio. You press it and you'll hear that. You'll click or tap or whatever and you'll hear that. And then you can say anything. Like, you can like say that and you can request for help and the radio comms. You see the flare gun, which you can use to shoot and get help. And then there's a water bottle. The hydration system is currently broken, so you do not need to use it. And onwards. I'm going to be showing you a fast but also safe route to get to the top. The main thing you'll need to worry about is avalanches and snowstorms. As you can see, I cannot see a thing even with this on. Even with, I can't see. So I'm going to be using this just so you can see that, like, I would have walked straight into that. I didn't even go in the correct way because of how dark it was. So, you're going to need to just follow whatever. You'll see a ton of ladders in the ice falls. You need to be very alert just in case you don't fall. Just so you don't fall. Because it can be a big pain to fall because we just started and a lot of new players say they need help. But if you do fall and the ice falls, I would suggest you just reset because it's not that big of a pain to get back up. Up here, you'll see a lot of people with lots of summits go this way. This way is a cave and it's much easier and much faster. And it's not that hard. So here you can see that there's a big ladder, but if you want you can go up this way and it's much faster and just generally safer in my opinion. Here's a roadblock, but it's not too hard to get past. You just need to wiggle. If you don't want to do that, you can always just use that ladder. And the way I preferably go is up here. If you don't want to go this way, you can always just follow the ladders. If there's a snowstorm and you don't have the snow goggles, you should probably just wait unless you're low on oxygen. So you'll just be going up here. And eventually you'll get to Camp 1, which you can skip because it doesn't provide anything useful except for avalanche cover. And speaking of avalanches, if there's ever an avalanche, you should try and get to a hole to take cover from it, or get to a flat piece of terrain and spam the jump button, or else you'll probably get flung off the mountain. If you see, I have the rope structure, which you can just get by being search and rescue. I also have the air refill, which you can get by buying a Sherpa game pass or becoming a certified guide in the official Roblox and Adventures Discord server. The link will be in the description. Same as the game, like that's kind of dumb to play a game and not like do it. So you'll see that Camp 1 is just right there, and it seems that the snowstorm is done. So I'm going to take off my snow goggles, and we will continue. Again, I apologize for my lag. I know it is crap. I can't do anything about it. It sucks. So if any background noise, by the way. And if you are extremely new to this and don't know what like this like, it looks like an aim thing for like snipers. And if you don't know what it is, it's called shift lock, and you can use it to get up terrain easier. Like for example here, it can be hard to get up, but if you like wiggle like this, it makes it so much easier to turn it on. You go down here, go to settings, and if it says off, you just turn it on like that. I would suggest that you use it because later in the ascent it becomes extremely hard. And here you can see that it will say Camp 2 right there. If you forgot to turn your flow off, you can go up to Camp 2 and refill your tank there because it is, what's it called? There's a tank there with this. Like, see my flow, my tank is for some reason not on. I don't know why. But say, oops, I forgot to turn my flow off, I can just refill it right there and then turn it off. It does say your tank is 0 here, but you don't need to worry about that, it's only because it's off. But now you're just going to want to continue with your ascent. The first major roadblock will be at the ladders to Camp 3, which can cause a bit of a problem for new players because of the avalanches. There's not much cover for them. If you are going to buy any Game Pass, the most I would suggest is probably the Rappel, because it provides the most protection from pretty much everything. For example, if you're in an avalanche, you can't get like flung off the mountain. And if you like have your rappel deployed, or rappel, I don't really care what I call it, but if you have it deployed and someone touches you and you get flung, it could possibly save you from it. But there's really no chances because depending on how fast your fling is, it could just like unrappel you. The main part of this video is for people who can't get past Camp 3, because Camp 3 can be a major roadblock. Like getting to Camp 4 was the biggest roadblock of them all. So you'll see my altitude right here is 2,377 or whatever, and once it gets to 2,400, you'll see that your screen goes blurry, and this is when you need to turn your flow on, or else you will die of suffocation. And from now on, you're going to have your flow on, but do not worry, there will be more oxygen tanks. In the distance, you can see a ladder, and that is the main ascent to Camp 3, which is the advanced camp. This part can be very easy to die on. So you need to be really careful on these ladders because like one flip by accident, or if like you bump your mouse by accident, that could lead to your death. And if you're in a public server or in an expedition with a certain group, you should use the 3-second rule, which is if someone starts climbing a ladder before you, you wait 3 seconds and then start climbing after them. This is to reduce pushing, because they could push you off the ladder, or you could push them off the ladder and possibly fall with them. Another thing is people don't know like certain strategies for certain areas on the ladders. Here I'm using my light because it just makes it easier. And if you find that the light makes it easier, you should use the light too. Because what I always say, the easier, the better, the harder, like the worse. Like, you should honestly think smarter, not harder. Otherwise, you're most likely going to die. Because if you're not skilled, but like I usually climb without any gear besides the oxygen tank because like that's the only gear I need. I sometimes have trouble on rocks, especially when it's night because I can't see them. So you should definitely climb with gear if you're a starter. Avatars don't really matter. Like if you have like for some reason like a ton of meshes or stuff on your avatar, like a ton of weird stuff on your avatar that can make you look big, or like if you're like one of those like food avatars, that won't matter because your hitbox is the same because everyone in this game is R6, which basically just makes it impossible. In R15 it would be impossible. And after there's an avalanche for like camp 2, and say you're like just at the ladders for camp 3, you should be fast because every 30 minutes there's an avalanche and you do not want to become an avalanche here. So here you'll notice that the ladder goes higher than this, and there's a couple strats for doing these. So first, and the one I prefer the most, is just going to the top and doing that. Hope I don't die here. Or I'm just do that. Honestly, I probably die. Here, there's a small shortcut, but I wouldn't recommend taking it. It's just that, but if you do it too early or too late, you could end up falling and possibly dying. I fell there before, but I didn't die. Here, I think the safest option is to do what I'm about to do. I do it a different way because I just feel more comfortable that way. But here you need to be really careful that you're not too far to the left or not too far to the right, or you can't do like the strategy here. So I almost bumped myself, but you can do that. You should like, so if you're like that way, you should face this way, and then like this. So if you're like facing this way and ladder's here, you can face that way and do that. You need to be holding W though when you press shift lock, or else you will die. There will be a lot of these after Camp 4, so you need to be extremely more careful about those. Camp 3 is at 5,000 meters in the air, and once you get to Camp 3, you're about halfway down the mountain. So good for you. From Base camp to camp 3 is the easiest of them all because the route is pretty easy to follow and it's just generally easy to do. But after camp 3 it gets really hard. And some videos might speed this up, but I will not speed any of this up because I know how hard it is to follow videos that are sped up. If you need to, you can even slow down the video if I'm like going too fast. Thing is, I don't want this video to be like over 45 minutes because that would just be bad. And I'm pretty fast at climbing this in general. So yeah. By the time you get to camp 3, your tank should be around 40%. If you're slow, it could be around 20%, but that really doesn't matter. So it looks like we got to camp 3 with no avalanches, probably because I'm in a VIP server, and like the timer started like not too like quite a while ago, but like yeah, it started when I joined, so it wasn't already set in a public server. So here you'll find a water thing, which you don't need to use. You'll find a medic bag. In case you got damaged, you just need to go over it. You'll find some more gear here, and you'll also find this. Once you feel safe, you can go ahead more. There are 2 routes here that you can take. But first you have to cross this. This isn't hard to do, you just need to have common sense and not walk off. You can go that way, and then around here, or you can go this way, which is much faster. That way is just generally safer, but if you do this one properly, it won't be too bad. And you just need to get up like that. And it's much faster to complete. Here is not very dangerous because you can get out, but just be careful here. And this is the first real problem, especially if you can't see it properly. But you just need to hold W and D to get up. Here is another big problem, which I face a lot, but you just need to be able to see it. If you join some certain groups, there'll be this thing called IR that you can enable, and it will like light up your surrounding like ground area, and it will be like wherever you like walk. So it's kind of like a big circle by your feet that just lights up the general area, which is extremely helpful. So if you're going to join any group, you should honestly consider joining one of the groups. Here, you can go the shortcut way, which is just up here. I'm not going to go that way because it can be really hard and you can take damage if you fall from too far. So you can just go up here. And here isn't too hard, you just need to wiggle a bit. Camp 4 is at 6.6 thousand meters in the air. And once you've passed Camp 3, you no longer need to worry about avalanches. Be careful about stuff like these because these can lead to you being ragdolled and falling down the mountain. Which none of you want, trust me. You'll lose tons of time. And if you're climbing with a group, you should keep your distance because you have a chance of getting flung. And because the anti-cheat can think you're an exploiter flying, you could get banned from Everest because you got flung. Here, you'll see that there's like these cylinder thingies. These are air. As you see, they refill my tank. So at low, these can be lifesavers. Trust me, I've had to use these before. I've been at zero before, and those have saved me from certain death. Here, you just need to go up, and then over here. The hardest part about advancing to Camp 4 is when there is a snowstorm and you don't know where to go. If there is a snowstorm, you should try and get to the nearest oxygen tanks and just wait it out. That would be my strategy, because you're gonna have a chance of dying and getting lost. And I've been lost when I've been trying to get my first summit. I've gotten lost, and I've been trying to get like up ways that you're not supposed to go up. So yeah. Here, you can go up this way. I've never really gone up here because I always take the shortcut way. But I'm going to show you up here since I'm pretty sure this way's easier. I'm going to use this. So you can go up this part. Actually, no, you can't. Yeah, don't go that way, because as you see, I got damaged. So you can skip those oxygen tanks because there's oxygen tanks over here. And what I would suggest is not going up here, but going over here. If you go over here, you just need to get on here. You can wiggle up this part and get onto here. Here can be a bit of a hard part, but you just need to get the right angle and just wiggle up. Here isn't that hard, you just need to get the right angle on everything. It can be really hard to see the rocks without any, like, IR, so I would suggest joining a group. If anything, the Alpine Ascents, or the Alpine Ascents, I really don't know at this point, because it gives really good IR. And when you're selecting IR, there will be IR steady and IR flash, and you're going to want to do IR steady, or else the IR will go on and off if you pick IR flash, which isn't the best for climbing. Right now I'm using the night vision goggles just to make it easier to see, because I have no IR. Here, I'm pretty sure here you will not want to go that way, or else you will probably fall. But here, you can get up there. Here, I do not actually know where to go here. Here you can just, there you can just wiggle up, which can take some time, but you'll be fine. Unless you take like 10 minutes trying to wiggle up, you are fine. I'm pretty sure you were supposed to go that way, but that's one way to go. I would suggest, if you're having trouble with the video, try and find a guide to guide you on this, because getting guided is much more easier. I wouldn't suggest joining official expeditions though, because if they get a lot of people, you could end up being flung or pushed off something. So I wouldn't recommend official expeditions and expedition groups. I would more suggest, if you like see someone with I'd say at least 5 summits or more, because they're most likely skilled and know the route. Or if you see someone with a certified guide name tag, because they will have oxygen and they can give you oxygen if you run out, and they have been trained and have been guided to the top and know the route. So they do not just get carried by other guides, they will know the route. If you see someone with 1,000 summits, I wouldn't bother them. They probably just want to get summits. And now, you're at Camp 4. You'll see some oxygen here, and then there's nothing really much to do up here, except for just like chill and get oxygen. And now you begin your final parts to the tip of Everest. Here's mainly difficult ladders and difficult, like, just general stuff that's difficult. So you're just gonna want to go up here. I would not recommend going that way because that way is much shorter. So if you go up here, you don't go up there because I don't think that's even possible. You're gonna go over here and you'll see this rock area, which you're gonna want to go on, I believe. I know there's a shortcut to like skip 2 ladders. Alright, so you'll see that there's some ladders over there, but there's a shortcut to skip those. You can go this way, which is not dangerous, trust me, as long as you hug the wall. You can go up here, which may require some wiggling, but it's not too hard to get up. And then once you're here, you're just going to want to hug the wall and get up like that. You need to wiggle a ton here, but trust me, it's faster and safer. And then you're going to want to come over here. Because you really want to run the risk of messing up that ladder there. No. You see that these ladders kind of pretty scary and you could fall. Just have common sense. And if you're not confident with yourself on doing this, just watch me do it over and over again until you get it. Because practice makes perfect. Here can be a bit dangerous, but you just need to get the right angle and just honestly go for it. So you see that there was just an avalanche, but that's at Camp 2 and we're very above Camp 2. Here you just want to hug the wall and you won't die. Here could be a bit scary because it looks like it gets pretty thin, but really it's not that bad. Here you'll see that this goes over. So this you can do backwards and like do like the shift lock thing, but here you can tap W until you're standing on the ladder and just walk onto that. Here I would normally do the same thing and just walk onto that. Here it can look scary, but you just need to get the right angle, and like I would tap D and press W to get onto this ladder. And here, you can do the shift lock thing, or just walk up like that. Here, there are 2 shortcuts. Here can be pretty scary because you kind of like jump there, and then here you can skip that extremely scary thing and just go up here. And then you can go up here, which isn't bad to get up. And then here you're going to want to hug the wall yet again. And you're just going to need to wiggle and get up that. Pretty sure there's a way to skip this. I'm pretty sure you can. I honestly don't know a good skip for that, so you can just go up the ladder. It's not going to pose you any risk unless you somehow shift lock out of it and fall down there. You're probably going to die. But yeah. You probably won't actually. Oh gosh. So do not do what I just did. If you fall down there, you can just go up like that. It's not too hard to get up. Here isn't a huge risk of dying. Here you can go up here if you want to avoid like that fall. Here is not dangerous. If you walk off, you'll end up there, and then you can just go here. Not dangerous at all if you walk off, but I would still suggest not walking off. Here is anchored, don't worry about that. You can go up here, but it can be a bit scary, or you can just go up that, which isn't too much of a problem. Seems like it's gonna be a snowstorm soon. Whenever it becomes heavy cloudy, you know that there's gonna be a snowstorm. If you're here, I would suggest that you just continue to follow the video even though there's a snowstorm. if there's a snowstorm here and you still need help, just follow the video. Here, if you fall down there and you have health like me, you're gonna die. So you just need to hug the wall and hope for the best. I'm gonna equip my night vision goggles now so I can see better. Here are people who do not use the 3-second rule. Use the 3-second rule. Here, to avoid this, you can just go up here. It will require some wiggling. Then you can go up here. These, you should probably pause for if you're on a ladder, because those will and can and will block your view. Oh look, you're at the death bridge. The death bridge seems scary, but it's been anchored, so yeah, it's very easy to pass. It's honestly just like a normal bridge, but like kind of like tilting stuff. Now you're very close to the summit. So all you want to do is just go over here, go up this ladder. See that there's more ladders over there, but if you want to avoid those, you can go the easier and safer way, which is the back of Everest. I'm not joking. You go up the back of Everest, or you can just skip here. I'm just going to skip here, and then you can go up here, and you'll see this rope. You can follow that up. If you're with another person and you get flung here, I am very sorry I got flung here trying to get my first summit. And you'll see the flag of Roblox Adventures. And once you make it up, you may need to walk around a bit. Congratulations, you have achieved your first summit. For me, my 17th. But yeah. Here, you can admire the beauty of Everest. This is, snowstorm. But that didn't take too long. And I hope it doesn't take too long for you. If it takes over an hour, but you still make it, it's not really the biggest problem. It took around probably 50 minutes for me because of how careful I was being, because I did not want to die. So yeah, you'll notice that you'll still have 0 summits if you have 0 summits, of course. So for that, you just need to reset. If you have the wingsuit, you can skydive. So you can just jump off and you'll be fine. I would not suggest buying the wingsuit first, because the rappel, or rappel, I don't know how to say it properly, is more worth it. Also, if you look at this, Everest is just that. Everest is literally just that. So I am going to reset. And now look, I have my 17th summit right here. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you actually find it helpful, I know videos can be unhelpful, or like, they can still be helpful, but they can be extremely hard to follow, because people are either going too fast. I'll say these are totally Everest, but yeah. They can be going too fast, or like, not doing everything that they're supposed to in the video. There's no need to worry about hydration. You don't really need to use a flare gun unless you're stuck somewhere. If you were to buy 2 game passes, if you had enough for 2 game passes, buy the rappel and the night vision goggles. You will have full immunity from avalanches with the rappel, and you'll be able to see with the night vision goggles. And just to go over to the alpine tent, I'm going to show you what the IR looks like. Most of these tents have the IR, so you just need to be, it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, this is the best IR, but you just have to click it, and then you'll see much like better stuff, but you'll see IR steady, which is a big like square, and here's IR flash, which flashes. So if you found this video informative, please consider liking and subscribing. And that's it. Next time I'll probably do Mount Kenya or whatever. Goodbye.